Hey guys, welcome to Rick Snider's Washington on YouTube, where you get the whole story. So please like, share, subscribe, comment, even hit the thanks button. And I always say that for the algorithm, if you're wondering. Welcome to the show. Everybody's getting ready to log on, so we can talk about Washington Commanders things or whatever you want to talk about. There's Steve, first up. You made it again. And Michael's close second. Sorry, Michael. Steve's just like hanging there. One day we got to meet on this kind of thing. So we're going to talk about Commanders, the draft, the sale, whatever you want to talk about. Maybe I'll talk a little Kentucky Derby, because we do have some horse racing people out there, and I have some early thoughts. But one thing I've learned: never bet on the Kentucky Derby before Friday, because anything goes wrong with that horse during the week, throw him out. Hibachi Gaming already hit with a question. What's my opinion of Hal? Well, same as I've had for a year. I think he has a lot of big potential. We're going to see, but I wasn't surprised. He's got a good arm. Seems to be, pretty smart, with the ball. I think his last game, he showed what he could do. So could he do that over 17 games? I don't know. And now teams have got some film of him. So we'll see. But I think I'd be willing to give him a chance, really would. LWSNE, I don't know what that stands for, but thank you very much for coming on. Got a few people. So, when's my next Monday night show? I'm not sure. I like to take a few Mondays off in the off season so that it doesn't get boring. And there's not a lot going to happen now for the next couple of weeks. I did see Roger Goodell actually said something about the sale before the draft. Get out of my way, my own sign. And Livewire and Sports Entertainment, okay? Where he said that they expect an announcement in May. Listen, the deal's done. It's Harris. Nobody else. I mean, Fertitta put an offer on the table in real cash. It just wasn't enough. But the other people in the end talked about it, but didn't put their money up. Hey, $6 billion is a lot of money. I mean, think of it this way. Magic Johnson's a 4% owner, and he put up $250 million. Whew, it's a lot of money. So, the sale's going to happen. They're going to probably announce it right around the May 20th owners meetings as far as the deal is done, but then there's 14 owners to vet out, and I think it's going to be June before there's a vote, and unless they can do a vote on Zoom. So it doesn't have to be anything particular. So it's coming, and at this point, you can just, plan to be happy. Hibachi Gaming, 3 DBs in the corner end zone, snatched it out of the sky. Okay, I'm not sure what that's about, but okay. Daniel, how many wins do you think this Rivera needs for new ownership to keep him? 10. Put that as my over-under. 10 may not get you into playoffs, though. Not 10-7, but it needs to show better. What should Forbes be eating? Asked Steve. Well, I am a master of that. I mean, here's a question. Who could gain 20 pounds faster, me or Forbes? Me. I think Forbes is going to be one of these guys. He's a naturally skinny guy. And I said that I'm really worried about the pick. I think there's a lot of upside to Forbes. Good instincts, studies the game too, which is the big deal. Played a lot, never really got hurt. There's a lot of positives there, but 166, that's a real scale number from the combine, right? Here's the truth about weights in the NFL and colleges. People put down whatever they want, all right? I have talked to many a player, and I said, is that your weight? They go, nah, PR guy wrote it down. Happens all the time, and my over-under on his weight at training camp when it reports is 181, okay? Now, is he really going to be 181? I don't know. Darrell Green played around 180, but Darrell Green was a good 3 inches shorter than this guy. There's a difference. I don't know if he's one of 10 kids and he sat at the wrong part of the table, didn't get food. I think he's just a naturally skinny guy. And 166, man, I think he'll get in the 170s. I mean, you kind of lose weight over the season. At the end of the season, a lot of guys are down 5 or 10. It just worries me that, you get in the middle of the field, all of a sudden, some lineman's been pulled, runs downfield, and whacks him. So that's what bothers me a little bit. David, thanks for coming back. I just talked about the ownership thing. So I think in a week, 10 gets you in, Daniel says. All right. Bill Bloom, thanks for coming. I appreciate it. Do I look to add more O-line or LB depth post-June 2 cuts? I don't think they're going to get anybody that thrills you, but probably I think they'll probably grab another lineman. Dave Butts, 295. Yeah, well, a lot of guys are 300 now in the NFL. I mean, Brandon, oh, glad to see you back. Quick question: with the draft behind us, who do you see becoming a cap casualty? Well, I think Chase Roullier and Kendall Fuller both are there. I mean, the team is about 2.2 million under the cap, and still has to sign the rookie class, which is more than 2 million, which means they got to cut some money to get there. Now you can rework contracts, you can do a lot of things, and maybe Kendall Fuller does a rework, on that. But he and Chase would be worth about 7 million against the cap. I think Chase is probably the guy that's gone. Kendall might restructure. We'll see there. Let's see, Tyler. Do I think Ron had a plan when hiring EB for him to retire after this year? No, I don't think so. Coaches don't usually plan. Ron's still young. Ron's 61. He's a little younger than me. What's my feeling about the draft so far? LWS and E. I gave it a B minus. If you watch my videos, and I also write for 1067 The Fan, Odyssey.com. I had a column today about. I felt that it was an okay draft. I liked their third day the best of all the picks. Not that they're the best picks, but I think they did the best thing they could do on a Saturday. But the problem is the other three NFC East teams had, I think, better drafts. I think Seattle, who might be the wild card contender against them, had a great draft. So you didn't get ahead of anybody that way. Overall, Paul, am I happy with their picks? No. I would have liked to have seen different people in the first two rounds. I would have liked to have seen that tight end. A lot of tight ends went quick, didn't they? I think there were 8 of them drafted. People figured out what I figured out, which is tight ends are awesome. They could still get somebody. They have some people in the room, maybe if they stay healthy. Abe thinks that Brissett might be the best bet this season. I'm sure he'll probably play some on there. Oh, Piper, you're crazy. All right. Never give up. We had an opportunity to get that Utah tight end. Yeah. Well, they've got Cole Turner, who I think last year really impressed me in the off-season camps, but then he got hurt pre-season and never found his way really back to the field much. We'll see. What's my guess for Chase Young after this year, Tyler? That's a good question. I think they have to give him this 4th year just to see. I wondered if they would trade him, but I didn't really see them doing that, and they didn't in the draft. I think you let him play himself out and show you what he can do. Good year, he stays. Bad year, he doesn't. And you just have to bite the draft pick, way it goes. So David wants to know two defensive ends drafted. You have to worry about Chase and Sweat. Well, the other part of that is there was no veteran signed for 2024 at defensive ends. You had to get somebody in the pipeline for these kind of things. If they lose Chase, I think they keep Montez. That's going to be interesting, but you might have a new staff. I had a video up today. I don't think it's a guarantee that Ron's gone. I think it's more likely than not if you're betting that way. But there's so much that goes into next season that's undecided right now. So we just have to wait. DMV Bay says Logan's a fighter. Don't see him going anywhere. Well, it may not be his choice, but I like Logan. I think he did a great job. Best he could. He was hurt some, so that didn't help. Michael thinks they're going with Cole Turner and Amani Rogers. Probably. What's the take on Gibson after this year? Asked Tyler. See, once again, what's the next coaching staff? Who is it? If it's Ron, stays. If it's not Ron, I don't know. They may go with somebody else. David asks, how's Howe at quarterback? That's the one thing about the show. If you watch on replay, especially, more people watch on replay than live. We did the draft show Thursday night. I think about 300 live and about 350 watch later. It's like that most weeks. So I don't mind repeating answers because people stay for about 10, 15 minutes, according to the analytics. So we're just going through a cycle again. And I think Howe is a decent one. I'd like to see them start with him. If it just doesn't go right, then go to Brissett. But I think you have to give Howe a chance to be a future of this team. Paul, did I go to the draft party at the Harbor? No, I was watching my TV and rapid firing. I've been to the Harbor a lot. I used to work there a lot as a tour guide. It's a cool place to go. I go by occasionally, have dinner somewhere there. It's great at sunset. We're down there on the river. I grew up in that area, so I know the area well. Michael, I think Rivera is going to be watching closely for linebackers cut by others. Absolutely. I mean, you still need another linebacker. Ayuden, Rogers was pretty good whenever he played last year. It's right. But he also had an injury problem. Oh, you guys are firing questions today. Tyler, could you see us trade up for Williams in 24 if we finish 500 or below? Oh, man. I have no idea on that one. I haven't even thought about 2024 yet. You get to my age, you don't buy green bananas. All right. That's all I can tell you. When Newbrass said, how safe do you think Jason Wright is? Asked Brandon. I think there's an exit plan that might be there. Maybe on Jason's desire. He never thought he was coming here forever. He's done the job he was supposed to do here. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes to the league office or somewhere else on that. But I think the league would also advise the new owners that, give it a moment before you make changes like this. Don't be like Dan Snider and walk in and place and fire everybody. So I think you need some continuity, at least in the beginning. But I expect that new owners spending $6 billion will have their own guy there too. DMV Bay, has it been proven anywhere using 3 safeties instead of a third linebacker is better? Depends on the people, I think this team did better with 3 safeties at times than it would have with 3 linebackers last year. Love the UDFA pickup from Penn State. Big kid, David says. All right, which one was it? I saw the list, but I haven't memorized it on everything. I have a hard enough time remembering it. I'll tell you one thing I was disappointed with, that Jartavius Martin wants to go by Quan. I like the name Jartavius. It sounds like a Roman gladiator ready to knock you down in the Colosseum. Jartavius. That sounds strong, man. So I wish he'd go by that more than Quan. Maybe I'd have call him that in the locker room, Jartavius. It just sounds like serious business with a name like that. Let's see. I would like to have come on my show soon. You want me to come on your show soon? LWSC? We can always talk about it. I do occasionally. I try not to get overrun with requests because it takes time. Cody Barton. Okay, Cody Barton. I don't have a real opinion on that one yet. I haven't studied them yet on everything. Okay. I'm trying to have a little bit of a life in my old age, too. What's my expectations for EB's offense this year? I think it'll do better than the 18 points a game. I think they'll be in the 20s. I think more passing, less running than Ryan was talking about. And Steve Lash, thank you so much, Steve. As you guys can see there, you can donate money to the show on that thanks button, which is also the $sign below. It's like right down here somewhere, And hey, it helps me out. I'm an old sports writer, so I do appreciate basically it's a tip jar. And you don't get this kind of stuff from anybody else covering the beat, really. I mean, John Keim has a great show too. He does different things than I do, but he has a great show. And JP's got his podcast. So okay, some other people do stuff too, but they don't need the money like I do. How do I feel about picking up Forbes instead of Gonzo, DMV? I'd have gone with Gonzo. And here's the thing to watch. How long did it take Bill Belichick to make that pick afterwards? 2 seconds? That kind of tells you something right there, doesn't it? He was like, bam. Got to always watch Belichick moving. That tells me a lot. I would have gone that way. The punt returner they got. I saw a clip of him. He does look fast, Bill. David, Michael Tinsley is a kid from Penn State. Okay, yeah, they signed him twice according to the list. I saw people making fun of it. I don't make fun of that stuff. Listen, I've made 1,000 million errors myself, so I'm not going to throw rocks at other people. Something simple like that, it happens. He's probably cutting and pasting, and things happen. God knows I make mistakes, still do. All right, now we talk about the team being sold lately. Snider selling, asked Paul. Yep, I started the show with that. It's coming. It's coming in May. And now it's May 1st. So I'd say about 2-3 weeks from now, the NFL should be making this official. And then the parade can start, and it'll probably be done sometime in June when the owners finally, give their blessing. You'll see the white smoke pour out. When you're always playing from behind, you pass more, says Michael. Yeah. But it's a passing league, too. So, You can run for dough and pass for show, but I don't think that's quite as if you have the right quarterback, that's not true anymore. I guess the Jets are happy now. They have a quarterback, but what is he, 40? Who gets an extension between Sweat, Young, Gibson, and Curl? Asked Sean. Definitely Curl. If we're just doing that, I'll say Curl. Bill, thank you so much. I appreciate the tip jar there. Thank you so much for everybody. See, be like Bill, you know. Like 1% of the people tip in this show, you know. Let's try and get it up to more. The real problem with the Commanders was scoring touchdowns in the red zone. Do you think EB will fix that? Well, that's what he's here for, Paul. They got themselves a battering ram for a running back. You noticed, you know, Chris Rodriguez, 6th rounder. That's basically his job. So can you do it? We'll see. Oh, Michael, you said something mean about Aaron Rodgers. Who says nice, mean things about Aaron Rodgers? Everybody. James, what do you think about St. Just? More importantly, what's the team think about him? Yeah. They like him a lot, as much as I do. I think St. Just is really good, but injury prone. So we go back to same thing I said with Forbes in a way. St. Just has had some, you know, several injuries, several different types of injuries. That scares me a little. And I don't like to see players getting a lot of concussions because, you know, later in life, that's going to add up. So, never give up. It appears there was not enough focus on the offense this draft. Well, they got 7 picks. How many to do? 2 linemen, a running back, and 4 to 3 defense, you know. But the top ones were defense. The kid from Kentucky is going to be a sleeper, Rodriguez, and says David. I'm willing to see. I don't think he'll get a lot of chances, but maybe he can be productive in what he does do. I mean, there are players that have roles like that on there. Ooh, I caught up to everybody. Whew. Okay, take a drink. I also have a tour guide, which you see on my board right there, Monumental Thoughts. If you want to come to DC and watch me talk this fast for 3 hours, I do tours anywhere from 90 minutes to several hours. I never thought I could talk this much. I'm not this big a talker in normal life. Newspaper men tend to be quieter, but this is what are you going to do? Have me watch me write? So I have to talk. So you can see me talk about anything. I've got a ghost tour getting ready to start up on audio tour soon. White House ghost tour. Got an Embassy Road tour going to audio soon. You can hear it. I just did Old Town Alexandria. I have an Old Town Alexandria walking tour in a couple of weeks. So go to the website. You can buy tickets for half price. Let's see. Frank says, talks about the Appalachian State quarterback. Does he have the chance to be number 3? Probably not. Sometimes they bring in a guy and they tell him basically come throw the ball around rookie camp because it's restrictions of who can come. And, hey, we'll know something about you, and if we decide we need a guy, we'll call you. It's worth doing for a day. Tyler, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Appreciate that you like all the info. Let's see. Let me try something here. See what happens. All right. DMV Bay. Did Mayhew dig himself out of another hole by admitting he didn't make enough calls to move up? I think he was just hindsight talking. I didn't really worry about it. Their drafts have been okay. They haven't been great, but they've been okay in the last few years. I mean, the top picks are the ones you always judge. And, well, okay, Chase is an incomplete. Jamin, that's disappointing. Dotson last year got hurt, so you didn't see everything he could do, but still pretty positive about him. And now this one, we'll see what Forbes can do. Let's do something this year different with Ron and play with some passion in the preseason. Jack, absolutely agree with you there. I say get out. I know it's preseason. I know it doesn't matter. But, man, that starts the habit, and you try and get off to a better start, which they have not done. So I think you ramp up more to do that. It's rumored the schedule comes out May 11th. Don't really know for sure. I tell you one way to kind of know is next Sunday, look at your TV guide on your cable screen and go to Thursday at 8 p.m., see if NFL Network has it slotted. If they do, then they probably do. I wouldn't want to be the guy that makes a schedule. Whew, I don't know how they do that. James doesn't want to cut Fuller. I think we should try and keep him around, maybe extend him. If they want to, they could say, we'll give you a couple more years. Let's get that cap number down. Then they can keep him. um, at a more reasonable number kind of thing. What's the big difference between the Turner offense and Bieniemy's? Sean, well, for one thing, I think Bieniemy won't be second guessing himself as much as Scott did. Scott tried to double guess and try to play things two different ways at times. Just go run your offense, man. Norv's first 10 plays when he scripted them were always good. He didn't care, didn't change. Scott didn't have the confidence in calling what he could do best. He played too many games and they backfired. How many stupid plays did we see that you're like, man, what is that about? And I don't think Bieniemy does that. Let's see. Turner's offense cannot put the ball in the end zone. Yeah, I mean, it just had a hard time with that, Michael. James, I actually like the transparency account from Mayhew. Well, it's nice if somebody admits things. The thing, I watched some of the XFL DC Defenders game. I hadn't seen much this year, but I watched that. They didn't do interviews during the game with players and